Okay, so here's our woodland scene. There's the dog, Brian, number 12 on the bottom film strip. So click on that one. Okay, I'm going to work with you, so I'll request remote control. Now, what's the first problem we have with this image?
Yeah.
It's very hazy, isn't it? It's shot into the light, so unfortunately, the image quality is not very strong. So the first thing we want to probably consider is doing an auto control on it. So let's just try auto on it. And I think it's already been done looking on Brian's. So
It has.
click on, just so it's clicked on auto. Okay. And just do the
big screen, I've got this meeting is being recorded. Brian needs to click, got it.
Yeah, okay. So now, Brian, what I do is just click the bottom right corner, reset. Let's reset it. Bit further down. That's up. Yeah. And that's what it was before. Now do an auto again, Brian, please, so everybody can see the difference in what happens.
Hasn't done much.
No, it hasn't. So go to auto. He's moving his screen around. I think he's got Zoom open as well. Okay. So click on auto. That's it. You got it. Auto. Yeah, you're there. Got it. So what it's done is pull the highlights down based upon the histogram. So it said it's a bit bright. I think on this image here, we need to do further things. So the first thing we're going to do, we only want to work on the dog, don't we? So let's crop it. So let's do a crop just around the dog. So click and drag around the crop, or you can either click to the left-hand corner of the dog's head, Brian, and drag a box over it, or you can pull the corners in. Let me just show you, Brian, what happens. Look, I'm just going to take control, Brian. So I'm going to reset that back. So what you can do when it's reset, come on, internet. Here we go. You can click and drag a box like this. So you click above it, drag down, and then let go. Okay, and that way you've got a box like, and then you don't have to drag the handle. So have a go at that, Brian. I'll reset it for you. So click somewhere to the left. If you find when you're doing a crop that you've missed a piece, just hold the space bar down and you can actually move the box that you selected already. There you go, you've got it. Yeah, we've got a dog. Now, I think you need to move the dog down a little bit because you're just missing his head. Just make sure you got the top of his head on because we're going to crop it. We're going to work it other way.
Got cut his tail off now.
Yeah, well, drag the bottom down, then drag one of the handles at the bottom just a bit bigger. Okay, you'll do that. Perfect. Double click on that and it will crop it. So yeah, double click or close in the right hand panel. So if you double click on the image now, it will crop it automatically for you. Double click. There you go. Okay, have we all got that?
Yeah.
Now then, there's a problem with the image. What's the problem with the dog?
Noisy and twisted.
Yeah, noisy, twisted, and look, we've got one reflected light off the rug is cream, and on the other side it's white. So the light coming through the window on the right-hand side of the dog is natural daylight, and the shadow area on the left, on its left flank, is a reflection of the tungsten light in the room off that cloth, so it's a warmer tone. So we've got to deal with that, haven't we? So the first thing is, yeah, let's try and correct all the aberrations and noise problem. Now you can see we're going to have a problem because around the edge of the dog there is a light, which is quite normal because it's rim lit from the window around the dog. So that's going to pose as a problem, but we can get around that. So the first thing we're going to do, let's go down to and get rid of the aberration and the color noise. So let's go down, Brian, scroll down. And we're going to come down to, let's have a look at lens corrections first. And then we'll look at detail. Lens correction. So if you click the disclosure triangle at the side of the word lens corrections, it'll open it up. Little triangle. That's it. Click that one. And let's do remove chromatic aberration because I know we're going to get some round here. That's it.
That's turned his other leg slightly purple.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. We don't know what camera this was on, so let's just go to manual. So where it says profile at the top of the screen, look, that's it, down a bit, down a bit, down a bit, there, that's it, in that box, manual, this profile, that's it, click on manual, and let's turn up the defringe amount on the purple, because I can see a purple thing, so, no, the one above it, Brian, look, the amount, just turn it up a bit, keep going, I'll tell when to stop, I'm just looking at the edge, that's it, about there, about 6 or 8, 8's good. I don't think there is any green. That's got rid of the halo. And if you're not sure, just zoom into the edge of the dog now to see if it's gone. I think it's actually gone.
Mine's very pixelated.
Don't worry. I'll come to yours in a minute. You may have got the older version. So I think that's okay. So, Brian, let's go now up to, I'm just going to control it with you. We're going to go up to detail. I'm just looking at your panels, Brian. I'm just looking. I've got detail. There's something not quite right here.
Why?
Just 1 minute. Just one cotton picking minute. Just going to update all my strip.
That's not yours, that's Brian's.
Detail? Yeah, well, I'm just looking what.
What's missing at a detail? Because
Yeah.
my one is exactly the same as what Brian's was.
Yeah, I'm just looking why.
It's the same as what mine is, Gary.
There, look, manual noise reduction. It's because the triangle was off. Sorry. I'm thinking, well, what's missing? Because they put these, because you got the new AI denoising, they've now put this little drop down arrow on. So can you see you've got a little white triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to that on. Now, it's not a DNG file, so we can't use the automatic new denoise because it's not compatible with this photo format. So what we're going to do, Brian, we're going to crank the luminance slider across. Now, do you all know what the difference between the luminance and the color slider means?
The luminance is brighter.
Yeah, the brightness. So any noise artifacts being due to brightness, yes. What about the color?
The colours sort of you do individually. It shouldn't. You go under hue and the other bits to do the colour.
No. What happens is color. When you get noise, you know, we talked about the old-fashioned amplifiers. By the way, I've got my old amp out from 1970s. It still sounds brilliant. If you turn an amplifier up, you get hiss, which is noise. And in photographic terms, we have two types of noise. One is luminance and one is color. So if you get noise in there on your camera on the color, for example, the pixels become very magenta and green, a bit like chromatic aberration, but it's all over the picture. If you look on the dog's back, you've got like a little purpley green tinge. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So what Brian's going to do is going to turn that up and he's going to try and reduce the noise generated by colored pixels. Now, if you've ever shot at night, sometimes you'll get stray pixels, like you'll get reds and greens flicking up all over. That's noise. And sometimes they take over the whole pixel and it suddenly becomes a red dot or a green dot. And on some of your cameras, you've got nighttime shots where it takes two pictures of the same scene and compares the pixels. And if it sees one which is dramatically different, it will use the image that has got the least number of artifacts or overwrite them. So let's crank up the color, Brian, to the right until you see the dog's coat stop that purpley green tinge. Well, there, it's done it. Go back a bit, about 40-ish. That's it, somewhere about 40. When you go above 60, it starts to get a bit wishy-washy. Go back again, Brian. About 50 on this one. Go a bit higher. It's just about going now. It's gone. There you go. So that's one. So now we've got rid of the color noise. If we turn the luminance right up, what will happen to the image? If I crank that luminance slider that Brian's got on 0 at the moment, right up to the end, what do you think is going to happen? Don't do it yet, Brian. Anybody?
Gary, I've only got on my detail panel, I've only got sharpening.
Yeah, you've got to go below where it says noise reduction. There's a little white triangle. They've changed the panel layout. And
Right.
you'll see below there. That's what I was looking on Brian. I thought, where's it gone? Then
Oh,
I
I
realized.
see. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So what will happen if Brian turns the luminance right over to 0 to 100%?
Brighten up.
I can't hear you. Sorry, Tony. Press your space bar.
I said it'll brighten up.
It will brighten up. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It will go very, very soft because what it's trying to do is get rid of noise. So, Brian, crank it right up to the far end. Now look at the dog's coat. It's gone very soft. And on this image, you'll get away with it. But on a lot of images, if you do it, it gets a very painterly effect, very much similar to a softening filter. Because what it's trying to do is trying to find pixels with contrast difference because of noise. In the new version of On One, they have got an incredible one. I think some of you have heard of Topaz noise reduction. They're very, very good. And it works on what are called fractals. And it works slightly better than the Adobe version, but it's still okay. So I'm pretty happy because what we're trying to do is a soft image. I would bring it down to about 70. Otherwise, when we put it on the other image, it's going to look really silly. So come back to about 70. There you go. So I've got some detail. Now then, I'm going to just take over, Brian, a second, if it'll let me do it over the internet. No, unfortunately, it's not. What I'm doing, I'm moving the detail up and down. And when you use your Alt key, it will often show you before and after. But I'm cranking up to look where the detail. See, if I turn the detail down, look how soft the coat is now. Can you see? If I crank the detail up, I'm asking it, I'm going to go to a point where I feel the noise reduction is enough. If I go all the way, it's going to be quite harsh, but it's got rid of some of the noise. And I think on this image, what we're going to do with it, I'm going to leave it on 100% because we're going to do some work on his coat. Okay, I've already done that. So I've gone 70 of 71 and 100 on detail and 50 on color. And I'm just going to go on to the color slide. I'm going to drop the smoothness just to see if there's any detail in the coat. It upsets it. No, I'm happy on 50. Color's not always, there's not a phenomenal amount of color noise in here, but there is some. Okay, we all happy with that?
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to the top of the screen. We're going to close off the detail panel and we're going to go to the basic panel. Now, don't forget your class teacher, Roger, because you've got the microphone on. So if you go quiet, that means everybody's gone to sleep.
They are.
Linda,
They all got the tongue out, what cup of tea?
you were saying?
Mine is so pixelated, I can't really work on it at all.
Tell me, what is the file number? Is it 973?
I don't know. There's no file number.
Okay. Well, press I for info.
It's 78 by 123.
That's the wrong one then. It's the other image you want, the other image of the dog.
Oh, I haven't got it.
Well, while we have a cup of tea, I'll make sure I'll go online and get it for you. Okay.
All right,
So,
are we having a cup of tea now then? Or?
have a look. What time is it? 10 o'clock. Just let me do the next bit. Just before we break for tea, can anybody tell me what the 3 issues we have with the dog at the moment now?
Well, it's still very hazy.
It's very hazy, yeah. We've got this colour discrepancy on his coat. Cream one side and white the other. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So during the break, I want you to all think how you're going to correct that because with Lightroom now, it's so easy and we're going to do it together, okay? So I'm going to come off of Brian's screen. I'm going to share yours, Linda. And then while you're not getting a cup of tea, I'll get Linda up to spec. Okay? Share your screen then, Linda. While they have a quick cuppa.
I can't get the blinking dialogue up. Sharing. Oh, here we are. Yeah.
Shift Command S.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Right, I'm going to get WhatsApp up. I need to request for control. That's the last one, that one there. Oh, see what I mean about internet? I've clicked several times, nothing, and then suddenly it's moved over. So I'm going to go download it, download completed, and open. No, I'm going to go on that one. Then I'm going to go on here. Keep up with me. Wow, that is small, that one, isn't it? That's not.
Yeah.
That is not the right image. Okay, I'm going to do resend it to you. 1 second. One second, Linda. I'm coming back to you. I'm going to send it again. I'm going to come on my WhatsApp now. Da, 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 da. WhatsApp.
I didn't think he was going to turn this into a class project.
Yeah, well, right, doesn't matter.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, please.
So,
Thank you.
Mm. Oh. Da, 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 da.
Man who does the accounts for the whole, he's on the soil, and I think we're about to say with the first.
Coming through, isn't it?
That's the last one. That's the one.
I could have put that on
Linda, can you hear me?
yesterday when I said that.
Yeah.
We're not going tomorrow. We're going on Monday. Is that all right for you?
What date's Monday? Let me just have a quick look, Margaret. My lens has just come.
Great.
Uh,
You know what I'm told,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got to be at, I've got to be at the 6th. Oh, that's the 19th. What date's Monday?
Not yours.
I don't know.
12th, is it? What date's today?
Hang on, let me have a look.
That's all, like, the light was on and
Yes.
somebody was.
Wednesday, 12th.
That's the 12th. Yeah, I can do the 12th.
Okay, great.
Sure, they could stay.
Needs to be-
Yeah, I've-
Can you change your scooter?
I'll remember to,
Thank you.
I'll do that today after we finish class.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice on Monday.
Every time
Okay,
I
then.
give a
Private
20 pence piece away, I always plan
Stay
it.
with
I
me.
think that's what you use when you go to Uptown to have a week. 20
Have a
pence a
champagne.
piece.
Do you spend a penny these days, isn't it?
I know.
So that'd be, I'm assuming that That'll be you and Linda traveling together from the ticket.
Yeah.
I'll pick Teresa up.
Can Brian not come?
He's got an appointment, he's got an optician's appointment. Tony's got an appointment.
So it's only,
Roger's not sure yet.
so it's 4 of us.
4, possibly 5.
Where are you going to?
Lincolnshire Wildlife Park.
Oh, right.
I don't know. It's like, where are you going to? I don't know. I just,
You just turn up on the day.
I keep saying Woodlap and stuff. I know
No, it's not. It's the one near Skeggy.
Yeah.
You got the postcode for the Margaret ticket?
No, but I'll get it.
That was a wonderful story this morning on the news. An endangered rhino has been born at Doncaster Zoo.
The white rhino.
Yeah, well, no.
Is
I
that
don't
the
know what
one
it
that was artificially inseminated?
I don't know, but
Because there,
so they do some
a
wonderful
while
work,
ago,
don't
they
they?
said there were only 2 left in the world.
Oh, amazing. Saying of
Yeah.
all the places in the world to be born, Doncaster. Devastating. What have I done to deserve it?
Like
There goes his street cred, doesn't it?
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't open until 9:30 anyway.
No.
Yeah.
It's your part of the world, Gary.
Not me.
So it turns out this time last year.
There you go. You're ready to go now, Linda.
This day.
Thanks, Gary.
Someone can remember us.
Yeah.
That's better. I can work on that now.
Yeah, I'm going to rotate it a bit, of course.
That was a great day. Got rid of the
Those eggs were lovely off the market.
Get back to Wales.
Yeah.
Say those eggs were lovely off the market.
Yeah, you got lovely eggs. I got me melted Mowbray pie, pork pie. £5.50, but anyway, it was nice, it's worth it. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Hmm.
Right, Linda's ready. How long before? Let me know as soon as you're ready.
Oh, I must go for a week then.
Okay, go for a week. I'll alert the media.
I haven't, like you say that, but I worked in the band back for years. Project focusing and everything, and he had a hit with both.
Oh, yeah, counteracting the. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So you're gonna let us know. Yeah. Before of it. All right. It's the reason. Let's go. Let's go. No, you don't. It should be. Right. Someone got on.
So nice. It's what the doctor ordered.
No, there's an echo still.
Is your speaker on and on?
Right?
Right.
I've one as well.
There's an echo. Has it gone now? That's gone. That was Louise, I think. Well, Linda's got
Photoshop on one or Lightroom on one and a Zoom on the other, and she had both speakers on her two things, so had to get to turn one off.
It's much better with two screens though, Roger.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't hear what Teresa's saying.
She said we can only see your boobs.
I know, that's right.
Well, your screen, whatever one is there is you've only got the screen is pointing downwards.
I know. I don't know. Oh, I see. Hang on. No, I can't adjust it.
It's a good job. It's not doing any work on you now, Linda, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll look very funny down there between your feet. Right.
I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, it's gone back to normal now.
I've gone back up now.
There we go.
Tony's just gone to the little boy's room, so give us a minute.
George is writing his will out in the background.
We've done that.
Don't forget to leave me the Ferrari, George. Okay.
I've got Peugeot, 23 years old now.
I'm going to get a biscuit.
So,
Oh, not gonna
whilst Tony's there, Brian, go clear your screen, please. And we can ask the question. There's three elements we need to do on this, and you're going to find this so easy because you're all very good now at masking and selecting. If I'm that confident, Brian could actually run the class now.
Whoa, good old Brian. He don't know it yet, but
He just fell off his chair.
I don't think he's listening.
Oh, he is. His ears are twitching. Right. So we have several issues. We have the cream fur on the left.
Yeah.
We've got the white fur on the right, and we've got this noisy arrangement on it, haven't we?
Yeah.
So when we come to cut the dog out as well, we don't want lots of other things, but you'll notice that at the top of the head here, that the light is pretty strong. Yeah. So if I click on, if I double click, I can't double click on over the internet, but if I click on Brian's 400%, oh, wait a minute. I know why, Brian. I've not asked for control.
But the hindquarters is not level either, is it? One is.
We've got a few issues with this picture, but we'll see how far we can go without making it look a bit silly. But if we look at the top of the dog's head, you'll see that it's burning out into that white background as well. So we've got to watch that when we do a cutout, because it does make an effect. I've done this and it does make an effect. So then, let's see how good we are then. So Louise, since you're very good at this, how are we going to get the colour of the hind leg on the left the same colour as the hind leg on the right? And she said, I'm not talking, I've got the microphone on.
I'd use an elliptical.
Well, one thing we could do, we can select part of the dog and work on it, or we can select all the dog and work on it in one go. So you've got a choice. If we select all the dog, we can work generally to try and match everything up, or we can work in localized areas. So I think for simplicity's sake, I think we should select the dog and use that as the mask, and then we can add and duplicate masks accordingly. So go up to the mask button, Brian, please. The round circle under the histogram.
And I would do subject.
And we're going to select, we can try subject. We can try that. Objects is good, but subject. Now the chubby subject is picked up the cloth as well. So let's close that one, get rid of that mask. We don't want that and delete it. Or we could subtract it with a brush, but then we're fiddling about. So no, where it says mask one, Brian. Go to where it says mask 1 in the middle of your screen. Keep going up. That's it. Now go to the right and the 3 dots and delete it. And delete mask 1. Keep coming down. Keep coming down. Next one down, down, down. There, delete mask 1. Okay. So let's try an object. Let's draw over the object. So use the object icon, Brian, which is below those 3 where you are. That's it. Go to objects, left a bit. Click on object. Now what it will do, it'll give you a brush. Now what you want to do is brush over the dog. So brush over the dog. It'll make a red mark. So paint over him and tell it that this is the object you're looking for. You don't have to be brilliant in the middle. Just go around the edges. You don't have to fill the middle up, Brian. It'll do it for you. Just go around the outsides. Keep going down. It don't matter, you go a little bit onto the cloth. Make sure you go onto the cloth a little bit, otherwise it'll miss some of the hair off. Okay, that's it. Go on its tail.
It's made quite a good selection.
Yeah. Cover the tail. Now up that side. Don't miss any off though. It'll fill the middle in for you. There you go. Perfect. It's found it. There's a little bit it's found on the bottom right corner. If you want to remove that, Brian, all you want to do is go to the brush and then you can brush it away. Okay. So we could do that. So I'm going to take control, Brian, a second. So I'm going to subtract it. I'm going to click on the subtract and we use the brush. And I'm going to just get rid of this bit at the bottom. I notice the flow's turned down a bit, so I've just turned it up, and the density. Make sure your flow and density on your controls are turned up. And when you're using the auto mask, you've got to watch the edges that you're subtracting from because it'll leave little pixels behind. So nice and gently. And you see that little bit there, Brian. I've got rid of that bit. And if I've gone too far, I can hold down the Alt key and make it into a plus and just paint his bottom back in where I've took a bit too much off. And there you have a selection. So, Brian, if I make a mistake, look, if I hold down the Alt key and add that to it, you can subtract it. And if I go too far, Brian, hold down the Alt key for me and paint back on this bottom again. So hold down the Alt key, well, it's Option on the Mac, Alt Option. And you'll see that that minus becomes a plus, which means you're going to add to the mask and paint on his bottom again and put that bit in where I made a mistake. That's it. And with auto mask, it should find the edges. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Well done. Okay, so we've got a selection. Everybody got a selection?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so now then, what we're going to do now is we want to be able to work on that part of the dog, but want in certain colors. So can you remember what we said about masks? We said using what was the intersect. Well done. So what we're going to do is we're going to intersect that mask with a color. Okay. So now we've got 2 items under the mask. I have found, and Margaret was right, you can actually click on here and do an intersect, or you can intersect on individuals. And now, because we've done an object and Brian has got a brush as well, I want to work on both, because if I intersect just the object, it's going to also work on that cream cloth at the bottom. Okay, so now don't forget, a mask is made up of elements, and in Brian's case he has 2 elements. He has the object and he's subtracted some of it away with the brush. Now I want to work and intersect on all of it, so we go back to the root level, mask, and Brian's going to click on those 3 dots and we're going to intersect mask with. Now then, we're trying to get rid of what?
Color.
Color. So we're going to intersect with a color range. We're going to be selected with a color. So we click on color range. Now then, might be easy if you switch off the button that says show overlay for the moment. So switch that off, Brian, where it says show overlay. There you go. And you're going to do, Brian, is click on the cream area of the dog's coat. So where it's cream. Make sure not black, cream on the white, on his white area where it's big. That's it, about there might do. Yeah, click on that.
I selected the wall and the rug.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. Don't forget, it's selecting the colors at this moment. So it's saying all these colors, but don't forget, we're intersecting with the mask. So it will ignore all the wall and the rug. Does that make sense?
No.
So when you do an intersect,
Oh,
okay, there, now look, you see, I've switched on show overlay. You can see it's only working on those areas.
I missed it.
Okay. Now, Brian could say, well, actually, I want a little bit more. This is a bit creamy there. So he could hold down the shift key and click on that area and add a little bit more. So if you hold your shift key down, you can add further areas to it. And then I'm going to switch off the overlay so we can see what we're working to.
That'll give you an eyedropper and then click on.
So have you all got a mask that looks something like what Brian's got? If,
Yeah.
don't worry if you're saying, like Roger said, it selected the cream in the background. It will ignore it. Now, notice one thing. We're going to be cutting this out. Yeah. Now, notice on the mask that Brian's got at the moment, he's got a bit on the tail, a bit of... I don't mind because we want the coat to be neutral, because when we put it on the main image, we want to control all the colours. So what we're trying to do is to get to a situation where all the coat is uniform. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, we can turn off the overlay for the moment, Brian, where it says show overlay.
Which you did, that's all.
Yeah. And now we're going to go over on the right-hand side and we're going to go down to where it says colour. So scroll that up a little bit. And by the way, can I just take control, Brian, a second? You'll notice on the panel where Brian was before, there is a refine slider. Can you see it? You can turn that up and down. So if I put the overlay back on, you can see I can cut it back and make it finer or more. Yeah. And we was around about 50. That's the default situation. I think we'll bring that back to around about there, just so it starts to go on his other coat. Okay. Now we can go down to where we did the color and the saturation. And what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the color by taking the saturation out. Okay, I'm going to just switch point color off, Brian, because I don't want that to confuse, and we don't want to do color. By the way, you could do that in curves as well, by the way. In a curve panel now, you've got 3 colors. And if I went to the blue and moved it the opposite way, you can see I can change it. But the only problem is it can be a little bit heavy-handed. You can get it really good, but I'm going to just continue with what we said in here. We're going to stick to basics. And Brian's going to turn the saturation level down. Now, notice on Brian's screen, he's got show fine adjustment box checked. If you want to turn it off, Brian, just turn that off for a second. So use fine adjustment box, uncheck it, and move the slider now to the left to get rid of the cream tinge. And you stop when you feel that it looks more or less like the other. Coming down, that's it. Keep coming. You can almost go almost to the left because it's a white coat, isn't it? So we're turning anything cream in that area we've selected into white. So keep going, Brian. Keep going to the left to about 10, I think it was. I got down to minus. Keep going. That's it. So it's about there. Now just add a little bit back. Go to say minus 90. Because there's a natural bit in him. So, and I think around about minus 90. I think they're both pretty balanced now at that. Would you not say that?
Yeah.
Is everybody happy with that?
Uh-huh.
Good. So we're okay on there then. So well done, Brian. So that is okay. So we can come out the mask now. What else, before we come out the mask, what else do we want to do with the dog's coat? It's what? It's a bit hazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Dehaze?
Well, what we can do, we did a, yes, we can do this today. When we click on object 1, we have a mask. There's our mask. There's our object. There's where we brushed it. There's our color range. So the mask, we don't want it to be there. So we're going to have to do another mask. So let's create a new mask, Brian. What I should have done, I should have duplicated it earlier. Then I could have saved some time. So let's go to object again. Create new mask and object and paint on the dog again. If I were to, yeah, keep coming down to objects, Brian, and then paint over the dog again. And this try and see if you can get it without going onto that bottom part. So paint around the dog. Don't forget, if you go so far around the outside, it will fill all the gaps in for you. Yeah, so go around the dog again. If I'd have been savvy, I would have said, don't worry about filling the blanks in. It'll do that. Just go around the edges. The main thing is get the edges so it knows where the edge and where you want to do it. So you don't keep, just, Brian, just go a little bit further over the edges. You're a little bit close. It might pick it up, but it's looking for some change. Whoops, you missed it. Let me just get hold of the mask for you. Right, it's not done it enough, Brian, so let's just delete that one. Whoop. Let's do another one. And this is what I'm saying, Brian. Look, watch what I do. Go around the edges and just go over it. You don't have to be accurate. What you're trying to tell it is give it an idea where the object is. It's a bit of his tail there.
I would say if you go from head to tail up.
Yeah, sometimes you can run from one end to the other straight down the middle. There you go. You got yourself a perfect mask. Okay. So let's turn the overlay off. So switch show overlay, switch it off. Now, what are we going to do now? You said now, Linda did say we can turn the color off out of the way. So I'll get rid of that one. We have got this one here called effects. So let's try a little bit of dehaze, Brian, to see if we can get rid of some of that hazy sort of glow off it. So let's crank the dehaze back a little bit. That's it. That's not too bad, is it? Not too far. Don't go too far. Just come back a bit. And just put a little bit of clarity on. Just, in fact, try texture first because it tends to not block. Just so we can see a little bit of detail on its fur. There you go. Now that's not too bad, is it? Now the other thing is there is a slight blue cast, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've done that. So why don't we intersect it now with a colour and let's reduce that blue tinge to him. Yeah. So let's go to up to where it says mask or object. You can do object, Brian, because it's all the same one. You've got no other elements in there. Yeah, and you're going to click on there and you can intersect it with and the color range. Yeah. Now what I want you to do is click on somewhere blue on his head. It's slightly bluey black, isn't it? Yeah. Not on the white here. Make sure you're on the darker zone, Brian. So I would go somewhere about just below his left ear. So get to the left a bit more. Other way. Other side. Keep going, other side. Keep coming down, down. There, that's it. Nice neutral area. And then click on there. So now it's saying that, yes, I can see all that. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go back over onto the right-hand panel and open up the color one again. So the color is below it, Brian. Where it's set. I'll open it up for you, Brian. There, look, it says color. There you go. And then just take the saturation back out again. Now you could do this in curves. We could reduce the blues, and we can also do it in color. But I think with it being a black and white dog, let's just take it back on that way. So let's take some of the blue out of the black, and because black is black. So crank that back till you see the blue disappear, and keep going till that blue disappears. Yep, I think about there, Brian. Got it. Yep.
What's the number?
He's got down to about -71. Now, the only thing in Lightroom everything in Lightroom that Photoshop normally does is that when you make a selection in Photoshop, the histogram will show you what the pixel range is. unfortunately, in Lightroom, when you're working on masks, it still shows you the whole image. And we know, looking at that the dogs, some of the dog's black areas aren't very dark, are they? So we can either wait till we go into Photoshop and bring the levels down, or we can try it in a curves adjustment. So what we're going to do now is where we got mask 2, let's intersect it with a curves panel. So go to mask 2. Yeah, and then intersect. I want all of it. Intersect mask with. Okay. And on there, we've got different ones. We've got brush objects. We're going to do a luminance range again. So down to luminance range.
Luminance.
Yeah. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go down, instead of color, we can do one of two things. We can try and pull the blacks down. So let's try the blacks first, Brian. So let's move the black slider. So go into your, on the blacks. Yeah, just move that to the left for me. There you go. That's it. Not too much. So blacks is a bit blocky, isn't it? It's a little bit blocky, but it's not too bad. Now pull the shadows down a fraction, please. Go to the shadows, one more up above the whites. Yeah, move that to left. That's better. That's a bit better. Now what I want you to do is just pull the whites up a little bit. So move the white slider to the right. Just to make sure that any of the white detail, you can see it. Keep going to the right. That's better. Now that looks a lot better, doesn't it? It'll do about there. Lovely. And I'm not sure, just do me a favor, Brian. I'm not sure it'll let me see before and after. Use the backslash key that's on your keyboard next to the return. It should say before and after.
Yeah, it does.
So backslash key, Brian, it should show you before and after. There you go, before, then let go after. What a difference, isn't there? Yeah?
Yep.
I think that looks okay as for now. Bear in mind that if we come into Photoshop with a smart object, we can carry on and touch these up. So I'm just going to just put a little bit more on the blacks, Brian, just a little bit. There you go. I've just put a little bit more on the blacks. Okay, are you all happy with that?
Gary, what about the rug he's sitting on? Because some of it's now white and some of it's beige.
Yeah, but we're going to cut that out in a moment.
All right, okay.
Okay, so unfortunately in Lightroom, if we select it, you can't cut it out and take it over. So we're just taking over the whole image. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to work on this next image now. So if you want to close that panel off, Brian, at any time, just click on that's it, get it out of the way. I think that's looking okay. Now let's click on picture number 6 that Brian's got open at the bottom in his film strip. And let's have a look at that image there.
Is that the forest one?
That's the forest one. Okay. Now, can I suggest, just in case I've sent it through with some changes on, I don't think I have. And if it has, I think, yeah, I think, unfortunately, I have. Just click on the reset button for me, Brian, please.
On the forest one, we did an auto on that. We did a reset.
Yeah. I sent it through and it's stamped onto it, unfortunately. But no, not to worry. What I was going to say, I'll just get my annotation screen. One moment. Just going to get annotation up. In this top corner here on the original image, it was really bright. Now, Margaret's got the original version, so she's got more control of it. But the bit on the top left corner, the image I've sent through is the image I've worked on a little bit on the top.
Mine's a DNG.
Yours is what, sorry?
Mine's a DNG, so is Margaret.
Well, I thought so. Why come I've got Brian? I sent Brian the JPEG. Just 1 second, Brian. Just one peck a minute, Brian. Just open me up WhatsApp at the bottom, Brian, please. Yeah. I thought,
You sent it through as a DNG.
yeah, I thought, still look. Ah, Brian, what happened was, see on there, you have to click on that arrow down, go down, scroll down a bit. No, with your mouse. No, keep coming down to the next one where it says IMG 3223. And there's a little arrow pointing down in a circle to the left of where you are.
To the left.
To the left. Keep going to the left. That's it. Click on that. And it should start a clock going round. There you go. Now then. Okay, I'm going to go back to Lightroom with you. Won't take too long to come down.
Yes,
That's going to come down. So what we're going to do, Brian, I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to click on import. So if you click on import, hopefully it'll be in there waiting for us. I'll just get rid of those drawings. And then go to where it says downloads, Brian, please, on the drop down. Here, look. Here, look, Brian. Ooh, it hasn't come through yet. It's still coming down. Come on. Still coming. Just go down to WhatsApp for me, Brian, please. See if it's finished downloading. Yes, it should have finished by now. Okay. I'm going to move that to one side a minute, Brian. I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to just force the chase. There it is. It's come this time. So I'm going to check them all. I'm going to just check that one, Brian. I'm going to say add. Import. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, my apologies. Right, so the last download, previous import was that. So I'm going to drag that. And where you put in your pictures, Brian, into classwork, that one. Yeah. There you go, it's in classwork now. Now you've got the DNG file, so we can work on it. Okay, so now we've got the DNG file. And I'll have a look to see. Now you can see on Brian's, I'll reset it, Brian. There, look, that's what you've got, Margaret, as well, isn't it? And Roger, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can see that the top left corner, it is burning out a little bit, isn't it? Are you okay with that, Louise and Teresa?
Get an auto on
Not
that.
yet. Yep. So do an auto and see what happens, Brian, first. So you'll have to scroll down a little bit. There you go. Click on auto. There we go. Now, I've got a sneaking feeling that I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, Ron. My apologies. That she wants a nice warm feeling. So I think we should turn the white balance up to around about 5.6 or 6.5. 5.6 is daylight. So just there where it says temp, Brian. That's it. Move that to it says 5.0. You can always try on a DNG where it says custom now. You can click on that box and offer up different ones. So let's go to custom, Brian, where it says custom to the right of where you are. Yeah, click on there and go to scroll up and go to daylight. And daylight is 5,600 kelvins. Okay, or 5,500, I should say. So that's daylight. Now, you could go a bit warmer. So we'll consider going warmer or softer in a short while. One other thing is Adobe seem to like you to use their standards. Now, I think that's still a little bit too harsh. So under the profile, Brian, it says camera standard. Can you see that to where your cursor is? Just up a bit. To your left, camera standard. Look, there's some little arrows there at the side of it. Down a bit. Keep coming down. Camera standard. That's it. Click on that. Okay, click on that. And it will give you a couple of options. We can try landscape. So try landscape, and you can try color. Landscape's a good one.
Hang on, I don't know where you're looking.
Let me draw on the screen then, 1 minute. Just, oh, come on, brush.
Landscape.
I've gone landscape.
There, look. Tell me when it's come up in a circle.
Yep.
Brian, click on the word, them two little arrows to the side. That's it. Them little arrows at the side of the landscape. No, a side of the landscape. That's it. And Brian called up all these. Now try colour one, Brian. See what a colour comes like. Adobe Colour is what it normally does. Yeah, it's a bit cooler. Let's have a look what other options we have. If you double click on those two arrows again, Brian, and this time we're going to click on the word browse. Okay. Now what it will do is it'll give you a load of options, and as you scroll over them, you should see the colours change on the image. Okay, so as you scroll through those, look as you hover over them, they'll change colour. So keep scrolling down, Brian. You've got quite a few. You've got camera matching, which means what you will get in the camera. You've got different ones. You can try Adobe RAW. On Adobe RAW, I've just opened up Adobe RAW for you, Brian. We get me arrow. I've opened up Adobe RAW. Come on, Adobe RAW, wake up.
You got them?
Come on, Adobe RAW. There you go. Adobe RAW. There's Adobe. So there's all the Adobe options. Then you've got camera matching, which is very similar. Then you've got these artistic ones. Now have a look. Some of that's a bit pink. We're looking for something a little bit more warmer and autumnal, because like the image that she liked, it was very autumnal. So try the artistic 3, Brian. Hover over that one. That looks nice. Ron, you're going to have to drive us on this. What do you think? Does that look more autumnal for you? Just nod your head, Ron, or say, yeah, thumbs up. Artistic 3 looks okay. That looks quite autumnal, and it's nice and warm. I'm going to just scroll down on Brian's things. I think they're all black and white. There are some old vintage ones, but I think you'll find that that one, I looked at that one, and I thought it looked quite nice. It was aiming for the things that one there, because we can warm that up. Do you all agree?
I've gone for that one.
I like that one.
Yeah, artistic 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget, just above there, Brian, because you're in charge of class today, there's this slider here, Brian. So if you all find that slider, you can crank it up some more, turn it right up to the right, go all the way so you can see what it does, all the way to the right. You can see it's quite dramatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you go all the way and it takes it off. So find a point that you feel that it's matching the one that she chose. I think you need to get to the right to about, keep going to the right to around about what I think about 140. What do you think, Ron? Is that enough, or should we try 150? Try 150, Brian. I think too much.
It's a bit too red, I think.
Okay, well, we can change the colours, but let's come back to 140. We're looking for a starting point, okay?
140.
Okay, 140. We're all happy on 140. Well done, Brian. So now then, we're going to come out of there then. Okay. That's it. Close. Well done. So we've got our image. Now, one thing we want to consider is we want to show a path. And we want to get rid of, because if you squint on that photograph, what we want is a little tunnel as if he's going towards the light. The top left corner is a little bit too bright. Now then, what we want to consider is that the light's coming from the left like sun rays. So we could use either a grad filter or a, let's just get a mask on. So let's go up to a mask, Brian. I'll clear my drawings for you. So let's go for a mask, but this time let's go for a radial gradient.
Radial?
Yeah, because sunlight comes out in a pool, isn't it? Yeah. And I want you to click, Brian, in the top left corner of your picture and draw a circle. Top left. All right, that's it. Draw a circle. Don't matter if it gets too big. Don't worry, we'll make it big and small. Just click and drag and make a circle. Anyway, that's it. Go the other way. Go downwards, Brian. So I can see a circle there. Keep coming down, all the way down to the bottom of your screen. Flip it over. Now go to the right. Go to the right. It'll make a circle. Go on down and right. Keep going down and right. That's it. Well, not too much. Now to the right a bit more. Now to the left. Go to the left. Sorry, I meant to say left. Keep going to the left. Keep going to the left. Go on, keep going till you get it right. There you go. I'll do nicely. Okay, let go of that. Now grab the center point and move it to the top left corner as if it's sunlight. So move it over till, keep going. Now up to the top left a bit more. Up a bit, up a bit, up a bit, up a bit, up a bit. Or keep going up.
In that top corner, Brian.
Keep going to the left a bit more, Brian. Oh, keep going, keep going. That's it. There, perfect. I'll do there. Okay, so what we're going to do with that now?
Stretch it out.
Well, we've stretched it out with that. So what we're saying, anywhere inside there, I want to dim it off. Now, there is a feather on there. And if you notice on this feather, Brian, I'm going to draw it. If you all see, look, we've all got this feather command. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So I'd increase the feather a little bit more because I want it to be nice and natural. Yeah. Feather it off.
How far? What number?
Let's go to about, keep going a bit more, Brian. There, I'll do there. Okay. Anyway, about 30. Now, what we're saying, anywhere inside there, we want to darken. Now, the trouble if I do too much of a darken, because there's two elements to this part of the screen. The leaves are very bright, but the sky is even brighter. So I'm suggesting we change the name of mask 1. So click on the word mask 1, Brian, and change the name of it. Yeah, and call that sky. So all call it sky and click OK. Okay. Now also click on the word on sky mask again, Brian. So you get your 3 dots come up. And we're going to click on there and we're going to duplicate it. Duplicate sky. Keep going down. Up a bit. Duplicate sky. You've got it. Now instead of sky copy, call it foliage or leaves, whatever you want to do. So double click on that one. And give it a different name. So you don't want sky, you want to give it a different name. There you go. Call it leaves or foliage or fauna. Okay, leaves. Good one. Okay, so now we've got one mask, but we've made 2 from it. So it's the same sort of selection. So what we're going to do first, let's go back to the sky one, Brian. Click on sky. Okay. And let's just click on the, so we open it up. If you double click on the mask, it'll open it up. Yeah, open it up so we can see elements of it. Oh, now you've clicked on the word. I'll cancel it for you. So I want to open this up. I want to open this up. I've got. Okay, so now what we're going to do with that one is we want to intersect it with the sky. So what we're going to intersect it with, what's the element of the sky? Is it colour or lightness?
Margaret said luminosity.
Okay, so intersect it, Brian. Oh, you've come off it. Click on there. Yeah, click. Intersect it, mask with. Keep coming down. There, click on that, and then we're going to do it on luminance range. Yeah, go down to where it says luminance. So what we're saying, we're gonna pick out all the light areas. Now, as soon as you open that up, and I'll get rid of my.
Do we need to switch off the overlay?
1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Yeah, switch the overlay off. Yep. I'm just going to clear the drawings off of Brian's because I want to draw on it again. Now you'll notice that we've got this new luminance range. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is it says click anywhere to sample the luminance to remove areas, create subtract tool. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the bright area, Brian, anywhere between the leaves and click on anywhere. I'm suggesting where you've got your pin, that little round circle, black circle there, just below there's a clear spot down a bit. That's it. Click on there. Now then, what it's done, it says, right, I found this, and all the levels that you want me to work on, cover all that part of the image, but don't forget we're intersecting. So on the right-hand side here now, I'm going to just clear my drawings. We have this little box appeared. This is the lower level, and this is the high. So you can turn the lower level up a little bit more towards the bright, because we don't want to turn everything off. So let's wind that back a bit. Just to the other way, Brian. We want to pinch that white bright bits. Keep going to the right. Keep going. Now, I would suggest you put your luminance mask on now. So show your luminance on the screen.
Map.
Yeah, click on there. So you can see where it's working at. Also, there is a feature on there called Show Luminance Map. Can you see this bit here? Click on that, Brian. Now, luminance mask is very, very similar to Ansel Adams' scale they used to use. And you can see now where it's picking up. Yeah, so you can see. So you can see on this slider here, just there is the pink area. So you could move this slider that way a little bit more if you wish. Can you see? Look, oh, the slider, Brian. Other one. That one. Move it a bit more to the right. Yeah, that's okay there. That's perfect. Okay. So now the reset. Now what we're going to do now is going to darken that off. So we can go for the white. So go down to the bottom where it says whites. Yeah, down here. Just there, look, the whites. And move the whites to the left. Okay, move it down. Keep coming down. That's good. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Mine hasn't done a lot.
You don't like eating win a lot? Are you stuck?
No, I'm just saying when I've done the whites, that's not changed much at all.
Ooh, okay. It shouldn't change too much. We don't want a lot to show. So,
No,
Brian, do me a favour. I'm going to just show Brian's overlay on again.
I've gone from minus 100. That's not changed much at all.
I'm turning the luminance map off, and I'm going to turn off the map. There, look. So now, looking on Brian's, that bright sky has become a lot less dominant, yes?
Yeah.
Now, you've got a choice. You can make that sky while it's there a little bit more blue, or you can make it a bit warmer. If you make it too warm, you won't get the discrepancy between all the leaves and everything. So Brian could, if he wished to, he could come down to his temperature and he could turn that to blue. Can you see? That's warm. That's blue. So you could put a hint of blue in there if you wish, Brian. Okay, I would put a little hint of blue in there. So what we've said is anything bright in that sky, not including the leaves, has gone darker and slightly more blue. Okay. So now let's go to the leaves. Is everybody okay so far?
No,
Yeah.
mine, when I've done the temperature, I've done it, the whole picture.
Ah, so you've not done an intersect properly then. Okay. So there's one other thing you could have done. You could have scrolled down and used in the main adjustments to check. Let's just share his screen, Brian.
You're doing mine.
Yeah, share your screen. I think what you may have done is you've gone past the sliders and using the sliders for the overall picture, not the mask picture. Mm-hmm. You have a look. Can you see you've gone too far down?
Hang on, wait, where are we looking?
Right, let me just get my annotate screen up and I'll show you where you've gone wrong. We did this last time, actually. Let's get a pen. What you've done is this slide has gone too far down. You're working in the basic panel, not at the top here. So slide your slider up. That's what should be changing them. So you're working outside your mask. You're turning things off in your mask. So anything you've changed in that one now, you need to put right. That's it.
That's all, and that one.
And your temperature. Okay, now move that back up. Okay, now do your temperature on that gap. Yeah, and turn your brightness down. So under tone. Go above it, above, tone left.
What's in there?
Yeah, and just turn the whites down a bit. There you go. That's it. You don't want too much because it looks too harsh. Okay?
All right.
Okay, so I'm going back to Brian then now. Okay, Brian, share your screen. What we like for time? We've got another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Okay, so we're on Brian's. So Brian, we need to get the mask back up again. So open up your mask panel, which is your round circle under your histogram. That's it. So now then, we're going to work on the leaves now. So click on leaves, and we're going to intersect with the leaves. We're going to make them a light, slightly dark and slightly warmer. So intersect with, so we're going to darken it, intersect with luminosity. So come down to luminosity range, yeah, keep coming down. In fact, go to color range first, Brian. Let's do color range first, it's easier. Yeah. Okay, so in there, the colors, so you've got to click on one of the orange leaves. And I'm suggesting, I'm going to get my pens up first, Brian. I'll show you where to click. I'm suggesting you try somewhere around about here. Anywhere on those browns. Yeah, you got to click, you got intersect first. You've not got your intersect going yet. So let me help you with the intersect. Oh, there we go. There's your leaves, your color range. There's your color range. So now, Brian, you've selected that. So now you can turn down the leaves color. And a lot of it is there. We'll feather it off a little bit. Whoop. Let's get that color range. Ah, it's not picked a color up, Brian. That's what it's done. And you see it's not active. So we've not collected a color. It's asking us to do a color. Let's show overlay. So at the moment it's selected everything. Can you see? So we need to select the color. And I can't see how far you've got. See, it's done that one, but it's not done color range. Okay, I'm going to add another one, Brian. One moment. There we go. Now we should get a brush, Brian. So if you can move your brush over onto that area, move your pointer over and select some of the colors.
He hasn't got the eyedropper, Gary.
No, he hasn't. I noticed that. Right, come on now, look. I'm going to say about here. There you go. So we've got a color range, and what we're saying, Brian, is we can turn this down a bit just to darken those leaves a bit. There you go. And I would suggest we can refine this look so you can turn it up or down. And I'm suggesting that we just warm them up a bit. There, look, because that's where the sun's coming through. Now I've got a more even picture. Is that correct? Is everybody okay on that?
Yeah.
You okay with that, Brian? Okay. We can get even more now. So let's do create new mask again, Brian. And now we're going to pick the path up. So let's do object, because it's pretty good, object is. Okay. And I'm going to paint, Brian, then you're going to have a go. So I'm going to paint over the path down here. And hopefully it should give us an overlay. It's not quite enough. Okay, let's add some more to it then. Add with a brush. When I did it first time, it came out really good. There we go. So all I'm doing, Brian, I'm using the brush to add to that selection. So what you're trying to do is to get something like that. So I'm going to let you do it, Brian. I'm going to get rid of that mask and let you have a go. So I'll create you a new mask, Brian. Do an object and then paint over the path. That's it. What you're trying to do is create a path so you can actually see where the dog's got to go. That's it, not too much to the right because you don't want to get the tree lit up. So come down a bit lower. That's it. Come down underneath it. Now round it a little bit to the right. Not too much. And now I've got along that edge. Okay. And then I'll fill that in a bit more, Brian. Oh. He's struggling to do it. So we might have to say add a brush to it. Let's add that to it, Brian. So paint the areas in extra, Brian, with the brush. That's it. Paint it in. Sometimes it works object. It did a reasonably good job. That's it. Paint it in. Yep. Perfect. So what we're going to do to the path?
Lighten it.
Let's lighten it up a bit. So let's turn the exposure up a little bit, Brian. I don't want to go too much on exposure because I want all of it. I just want the highlights. So I'm going to turn that up a bit just so we can see a path. So go to, keep going, Brian, to about 0.3. Wrong way, other way. Keep going. So 0.3 is a third of a stop. Keep going. That's 0.2. That's it, about there. Now, what I would do, I should go a little bit more, Brian. Just go a tad more to 0.6, 2/3 of a stop. Keep going up. That's it, about there. That's enough. Now, notice it's a little bit, getting a bit too white. So what we need to do is add a bit more colour to it. So let's scroll down a little bit, Brian. And let's put more of a tint on it. Let's scroll down. That's it. And let's turn the temperature up a little bit, just to warm that bit up. Warm it up a bit. That's it. That's lovely, that. Now, you've got a slider above called custom. Can you see it said amount? So let's slide that left and right on mask 1. Let's just scroll up. I'm going to just scroll up with you. So mask 1, we've got this slider here. And you see, if I turn it to the left, it goes off. Turn it to the right, it goes up. So you're going to slide that till you find you've got a reasonable amount. And I think something like that's enough. Yeah. Do you all agree? You all happy with that?
Yeah.
Are you okay, Teresa and... So I think that's looking good. Okay. So I'm going to turn these off. I'm not going to do this. I always do vignettes at the end. I just want to have a look what the vignette would look like. So I want to get a sense of where we're going to take this image. We want to get that feeling that the dog's going down a path, his last little journey down the path, and we want to darken it. So we're going to be doing something like that eventually, but I don't want too much on the top left corner. So when we do the vignette, I don't want it to go in that top corner because it makes it look a bit muddy, doesn't it? Yeah, but we're going to do a vignette, but not straight away. What we're like for time, 2 minutes. So I'm saying next week we'll put that on. Ron, do you need it before next week, or do you, I mean, I can work on this if you wish. I've done most of it anyway, but or do you want to do it together so you've got a copy as well?
Do it together, he says.
Okay, that's fine. So what effect are we going to do? I'm going to do it on Brian's. I'm going to just open up Brian's. So next week, Brian's got a fighting start. I would come down to edit in, edit in a smart object. Okay. And the reason being is we can change it anytime we like.
You want us to do the same?
No, I'm just going to show you what we're going to do next week because we're running out of time. And then what we're going to also do next week, can you just bump me Lightroom? Well, I can do it. No, I can't do Command Tab. I can't do Command keys. Just pull me Lightroom back up, please, Brian. There we go. And then what we're going to do, obviously, we're going to get the dog. Where's the dog gone? Here it is. I'll show you what we're going to do, and then we'll do this next week.
Yeah, the heat has just gone off, so it must be kicking out time.
So what we're going to do next week, we're going to select this, obviously, and we're going to do a selection, cut out the dog, Well, my panel's getting in the way. We're going to do a selection and then cut the dog out. And effectively, what we'd do then is we would drag. Whoops, we get this tool. We're going to drag him onto this image. Now then, one problem I have. The dog's pointing the wrong way down the path. We can either flip the dog or we can flip the scene. So we could flip the dog, image, rotation, horizontally. So he's looking up. My apologies. I don't do just that image, not all of it. Image. Excuse me. When we're looking for image, I don't want image, I want layer. Oh, I've got to go on to here. I've got to go on to there. I'll tell you why next week. Oh, I just want to give you a feeling what some of the problems we're going to have. So we can flip him and put him somewhere here if you wish. And I think that's a nice position. I'm looking also, when we come to do it, he's got some light on his coat. We might find that when we put him on, the light will fall nice on the coat. And we can drop some sun rays through next week so it shines on him, and then we give him somewhere to look down, yeah? Does that make sense to you all? So,
Yeah.
Brian, you're in front of everybody, so that's no problems. I'm going to save that for you, Brian, just so you've got something to work on. Don't want to save that one. Okay, so that's what you've got for next week, Brian. Okay, so that.